The great Persian Empire, now ruled by King Darius, was a vast, sprawling dominion that required immense organization and oversight. Darius, recognizing the need for efficient governance, established a structured administration over his 120 regional governors. He appointed 3 administrative presidents to oversee these governors, ensuring the king's laws were executed efficiently across the massive territory. Among these 3, a distinguished Jewish exile named Daniel stood out, known for his extraordinary wisdom, impeccable integrity, and unmatched competence. His long career under previous regimes had cemented his reputation as a trustworthy and invaluable statesman. His success was a visible testament to God's favor, yet it also kindled the dangerous fires of jealousy. Daniel's spiritual and professional excellence quickly made him the favorite of King Darius, who was planning to elevate him above the other 2 presidents and all the royal governors. This preferential treatment enraged the other officials, who saw their own power and influence diminishing under Daniel's superior oversight. They immediately set out to find some basis for accusation against him, some financial misconduct or administrative error that could lead to his downfall. They meticulously investigated every aspect of his professional life, scrutinizing his accounts and reviewing all his official decisions. Their search was a desperate, malicious hunt for a flaw, but Daniel's record was utterly unblemished. Frustrated by their inability to find any professional fault, the jealous officials held a secret, tense meeting to plot a new, insidious strategy. They realized with grudging admiration that Daniel's integrity was ironclad and his work entirely beyond reproach. Their malice led them to a cold, shocking conclusion. Their only chance to destroy Daniel lay in exploiting his one great loyalty, his unwavering devotion to his God. One of them hissed, "We will never find any basis for charges against this man Daniel, unless it has something to do with the law of his God." This recognition of Daniel's virtue was ironically used as the key to his destruction. The conspirators devised a fiendishly clever trap, one that exploited King Darius's vanity and Daniel's piety in equal measure. They rushed to the king, flattering him with false reverence and urging him to establish a new temporary law with unparalleled authority. The decree they proposed was a 30-day interdict. For 1 month, no one in the entire kingdom could offer a petition, prayer, or request to any god or man except to King Darius himself. This was a blatant attempt to deify the king, appealing directly to his royal ego and sense of absolute power. The tension of their manipulative flattery was highly effective. The conspirators stressed that this decree must be irrevocable, a fixed law of the Medes and Persians that could not be repealed or altered by the king himself. They correctly anticipated that Daniel would never compromise his prayer life, thus guaranteeing his violation of the law. King Darius, blinded by the flattery and convinced of his own importance, failed to see the malicious intent hidden beneath the proposal. He proudly signed the interdict, setting the terrible, unalterable trap in motion. The ink dried on the parchment, sealing Daniel's fate with the absolute authority of the empire. Despite the extreme danger, the decree did not catch Daniel unaware. The moment the new law was published, he knew the mortal peril he faced. The officials waited with bated breath, certain that fear of the pit would compel the old statesman to compromise his daily routine. But Daniel, far from hiding or altering his practice, demonstrated an astonishing, defiant boldness. He made no attempt to conceal his actions or close the windows of his upper room to maintain secrecy. His spiritual conviction utterly transcended any fear of human consequence or punishment. Daniel immediately went to his house, precisely as he had done for years, a testament to the unshakable routine of his devotion. He went up to his upper room, where the windows were openly flung wide facing the holy city of Jerusalem. 3 times a day, Daniel knelt down and prayed, offering gratitude and petition to his God, just as he had done before. This was not an act of provocative defiance, but an authentic, unwavering continuation of his covenant relationship. The spiritual tension was immense, a quiet act of worship versus the absolute power of the entire Persian Empire. The waiting conspirators, having anticipated and tracked his every move, watched with immense, malicious satisfaction as Daniel knelt in open prayer. They had their evidence. the clear public violation of the king's unchangeable law. They rushed immediately to King Darius, confirming their success and ensuring the king was fully committed to the penalty. "Did you not sign an interdict?" they asked the king with false deference. "That anyone who prays to any god or man besides you, O king, for 30 days should be cast into the den of lions?" The king, caught in his own trap, could only confirm the law's absolute finality. The officials then delivered the crushing news. "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you put in writing." They provided the damning details. Daniel continued to pray 3 times a day, facing Jerusalem, making requests to his own God. King Darius instantly realized the horrible mistake he had made, the cruel trap that had been set for his most trusted minister. He was deeply distressed and spent the remainder of the day desperately searching for a legal loophole or a way to rescue Daniel from the fatal decree. The entire day passed in agonizing tension as the king wrestled with the unchangeable law of the Medes and Persians. Darius, who had the power of life and death over millions, was now utterly powerless against a law he himself had enacted. The jealous officials were relentless, reminding the king that the law was fixed and could not be altered for anyone. The choice was agonizing: violate the foundational law of the empire and risk chaos, or sacrifice his beloved friend. The conspirators, fueled by vengeance, ensured the king had no recourse but to execute the sentence. Finally, as the sun set, the desperate king, with a heart heavy with sorrow, gave the final terrible order. "Bring Daniel and throw him into the lion's den," he commanded, the words echoing his immense personal failure. Yet, in this moment of devastating judgment, a sliver of desperate hope surfaced in the king's final words to his condemned friend. Darius knew Daniel's God was real and powerful, a testament to Daniel's unwavering life. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you," the king declared, expressing his last, desperate prayer for the condemned man. Daniel was escorted to the gruesome pit, the den where the king kept hungry, fierce lions for the execution of criminals. The air must have been thick with the primal stench of wild beasts and the terrifying sense of absolute finality. Daniel was thrown into the pit, and the executioners immediately rolled a massive stone over the mouth of the den, sealing the entrance. The king personally secured the seal with his own signet ring, and those of his nobles, guaranteeing that no one could interfere with the judgment or rescue Daniel. The seal of the empire confirmed the death sentence. King Darius returned to his palace, utterly unable to find solace, haunted by the image of his loyal minister facing certain brutal death. He spent a terrible, sleepless night, refusing to eat and dismissing all forms of entertainment and distraction. His immense personal grief stood in stark contrast to the cold, triumphant malice of the conspirators. The tension of the entire kingdom focused on the sealed stone and the fate of the man inside. Darius's mind was consumed by the terrifying knowledge that Daniel was facing a horrifying, violent end, all because of his own royal hubris. At the first light of dawn, the king could bear the uncertainty no longer and rose with frantic urgency. He rushed back to the lion's den, consumed by a desperate, slim hope that Daniel's God might have intervened. The king's heart pounded with a mix of dread and fierce, desperate anticipation as he approached the sealed stone. His anguish was palpable. His voice was one of desperate sorrow as he called out to his friend in the dark pit. The moment of truth, the question of Daniel's survival, had finally arrived. The king called out in a lamenting, questioning voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" The question carried the weight of theological and political consequence, a final desperate search for divine intervention. The entire scene was poised on the edge of a great revelation, the confirmation of God's power, or the tragic finality of death. The tension was at its absolute peak, a terrifying silence hovering over the den. Then, an impossible, miraculous voice answered from the dark depths of the den, shattering the king's dread with a profound, gentle clarity. "O king, live forever," Daniel declared, his voice completely unharmed and filled with peace. He was alive, not merely surviving, but speaking with the same respect and reverence he had always shown his sovereign. The king's heart must have leaped with an unimaginable surge of relief and astonishment. the terror of the night instantly replaced by miraculous certainty. Daniel revealed the secret of his spectacular preservation, providing a clear, powerful testament to the intervention of his God. "My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions," Daniel explained, detailing the supernatural intervention. The beasts had been rendered utterly harmless, their terrifying power neutralized by a divine angelic presence. Daniel confirmed his innocence, stating, "They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king." The tension of the entire ordeal was instantly released by this triumphant message of salvation. King Darius was overcome with an immense powerful joy, commanding his servants to immediately haul Daniel up out of the lion's den. Daniel emerged from the darkness completely unharmed, without a single scratch or sign of physical trauma. The lions, though hungry and fierce, had respected the divine boundary set by the angel. The king's relief was immediate, and his faith was absolute. Daniel's God had been proven true before the entire Persian court. This spectacular rescue was the ultimate, undeniable confirmation of Daniel's unwavering piety and the power of his devotion. The king's joy quickly turned to righteous, administrative fury against the men who had maliciously plotted the destruction of his loyal friend. Darius commanded that the very officials who had accused Daniel, along with their entire families, be seized and thrown into the same lion's den. As soon as they were cast into the pit, before they even reached the floor, the hungry lions instantly overpowered them and crushed their bones. This swift, terrifying act of justice established the full, lethal capacity of the lions and underscored the truly miraculous nature of Daniel's survival. King Darius, moved by the magnificent display of divine power, issued a universal decree to all the nations and peoples within his vast empire. He commanded that everyone in every corner of his kingdom must tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. The king officially acknowledged the Lord as the living God, whose kingdom is everlasting and whose dominion will never end. The story of Daniel in the lion's den is the ultimate testament to faith under fire, proving that unwavering devotion to God trumps all human power, and that those who honor God will be honored and miraculously protected by him.